flexing my golf game so I can take money off my friend Jim Merkel next time we play. Today I'm going to talk to Jim. Jim's the president and CEO of Rockbridge. Rockbridge is a private equity firm out of Columbus, Ohio. Jim and his team have done a great job. They're stalwarts in the hotel industry. Let's hear what he's got to say. Thanks for joining.
I like your backdrop, brother.
You like that?
I do. You're looking all official.
Yeah. You know, we threw up some of our posters and for our video conferences and town hall meetings and that sort of thing.
I mean, I love it. Although it reminds me of the unofficial peak of the industry.
Did I call it? Did I call it? This is we are going to when we get the idea of having a big party at ALIS in 10 years, just know that it will mark the peak.
Yeah, you're 2 for 2, aren't you?
2 for 2.
Yeah, we crushed the first one and the Sky
Bar. Yeah.
Sky Bar. Thank you.
Yeah.
And we destroyed this last good run at Alice.
Yeah. Next year it's going to be a potluck.
Bring your own. Yeah, that's brown bag it. I think that's back to our roots.
Yes, exactly, for sure.
Tell me you have pictures of that.
I do.
Yeah, you got to send them.
I do. I got to send them. Yeah.
Oh, so you surviving?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not? How's quarantine life?
Quarantine life. It's been, it's been busy, like really busy, obviously, but I've been coming to the office every day. So, and
just so you can get out of the house.
Yeah. Well, I like to, when I get home, I want to just decompress. And so I usually have long days away from home. And then when I'm there, I try not to work. So that's my quarantine. That's my normal routine.
And I'm struggling to
doesn't always work.
I'm struggling to picture Jim Merkel, the virtual homeschool teacher.
Yeah, that's right.
Help your son with the math homework. I bet not.
Yeah, no. I try to leave all of that to my wife, and she's been doing that. She's been pulling her hair out. And I'm sure everybody's experiencing this, but these schools that aren't accustomed to online schooling are not very good at it, and so it's been tough for them to get up to speed and learn how to teach online. So they've been struggling through it. But I have a son in 5th grade, and he's our most conscientious student, and was all stressed out about his test scores that were going down because he was confused on the subject, and they were struggling to teach it online, and we had to sit him down and tell him to relax. It's okay. We're mom and dad are good. Don't worry about it, and you'll be fine. You'll learn it. Don't stress out.
Even though you couldn't answer one of his questions.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw a note the other day from what kid, like kindergartner, that basically handwritten was like, "It is not going well."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that was I don't know if you saw Saturday Night Live where they had a skit about graduation where basically if you're going to Harvard or Yale, you're paying tuition basically for University of Phoenix with worse tech support.
Amen. I mean, I'm not sure I'd be paying for university these days.
Yeah.
But I'm not there yet, so who knows?
Yes.
Who knows? You found a way to get a haircut yet?
My wife. Yeah. She clippered me up. How did she do?
Yeah, you're killing it. Yeah, it's just the sides. The top doesn't.
Yeah, the top. I didn't let her go there. I didn't let her go there. Although I'm getting close.
That's right. Eventually.
Yeah.
That's right. Drive to Georgia. I guess ours are open. Although I'm not brave enough to go yet. So.
Yeah. Is that right? Yeah. We tattoo parlors are opening up this Friday. So if you need a tattoo, you can come to Ohio.
It's an essential business, Jim.
Essential.
That and the tanning salons.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. I love it. In Georgia, they're starting to get back out, though. I can feel the energy. I don't know if that's good or bad. What are you binge watching? Tell me you're watching The Tiger King.
Yeah, I've watched that. Yeah, I've watched The Tiger King, but that was I didn't get that whole series. But we're watching Ozarks now. We're kind of late to the game there, but
it is fantastic. I just finished the second season. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
Although now I'm watching Little Fire.
You're kind of like Bateman, just calm.
Yeah, it's the same mannerisms.
Yeah, just calm.
Rugged, good looks.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Got it under control at all times.
All times, you think. Yeah. Talk to your hotels. How many of them are closed down? What's the pain looking like there?
Yeah. So we have 76 hotels. We had 18 closed and one has reopened, so we're 17 closed. That includes probably 6 of those. Yeah, 6 of those were closed due to renovation and or development. So 12 were truly closed through this COVID pandemic, but we're now 11 closed.
Or how'd you pick the 11? Is it markets or is it types of assets?
It's mostly type of assets. The bigger, higher rated urban group houses were the most affected and were the toughest to rationalize staying open, even though staying open was marginally different than closing. And, that was, something I never hoped to learn, but, that these properties they're not free when you close down. They have expenses. And so we've got negative operating losses, whether we're closed or open. And so we stayed open on a lot of properties, and it ended up working out. We had more demand than we expected on hotels we were thinking about closing.
How concerned are you with those operating losses? I mean, I know everybody's concerned today, but how concerned are you?
Yeah, I mean, they are, they're not any fun for sure. And I call it the COVID ditch. So if you look at a chart, you have this chart that goes down and comes back up, and it's just a ditch that we've created, and that's cash flow. And so we got to try and fill that ditch in order to mitigate, the impact of the investment. And so how do you fill that ditch is limit the losses as best you can and lower your cost of capital. It's really the two choices that you have today. And so we've been able to lower our cost of capital a bit. I definitely give a lot of credit to our debt team and our capital markets team. They going into this, we have all our loans are with balance sheet lenders. That's one. So we have somebody to talk to. And then we were either hedged or had the ability to, we were floating and had the ability to swap our rates. And our average cost of capital across our portfolios, 3.2%, which is pretty ridiculous. And being in the business for 20 years, you think about the portfolio to have that for a hotel to have that cost of capital is a new experience for me.
Yeah, what were they when we first got into this industry?
Oh, on a conventional loan, I mean, you were 6+%, 6-7%. And that was down in the 65%, 70% range.
Yeah, so, right.
It's changed quite a bit.
And all the old timers talk about the 12 and 18%.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember what the actual cost of capital. Maybe it wasn't any more than 8%, something 6 to 8%.
But that was about normal for everybody.
Yeah.
Now we're less than half of that. It's crazy. What's your best performing hotel right now, and why?
So, look at it two ways. Our best performing hotel from an occupancy percentage standpoint is a Best Western in Savannah, which is it's 89 rooms, but it sold 78 rooms on Saturday in Savannah, and we actually reopened. The one hotel we reopened last week was the hotel next to it, the Alita, which is a higher end property, and it has 173 rooms, and it ran like 27% on Saturday, just reopening. So Savannah is a leisure market, and the folks in Georgia were ready to get out.
The good people of the state of Georgia.
Yes.
Ready to get out.
Yes.
They knew you had a hotel in Savannah. That's why they opened.
Yeah, exactly. The other ones, we have a Hampton Inn in New York that that got a lot of first responder business and has been running about 60%, 70% occupancy, albeit at half the rate. And then have a hotel in Louisville, which is an outlier as well. Has been it's a 320 room property, but it's been running about 30 to 35%, just over 100 rooms a night, pretty consistently in Louisville. And so and then you look at the rest of our portfolio, and ones you would think would be better are not, and ones that you're surprised are doing a little bit better. Across our portfolio, it's of open hotels, it's like 10 to 12% in total.
Yep.
So pretty consistent with what I'm hearing other folks are experiencing.
So, and it doesn't sound like I'm putting words in your mouth, that you're not overly concerned. I mean, it's not a great place where we are right now, but you're not overly concerned that you guys are going to be in any more trouble than the next guy, that we're going to come out of this thing. It won't be fun, but that we'll come out of this eventually. Yeah.
Yeah. We're not psychopaths where we're not concerned. I mean, we're certainly concerned. I think you'd be tone deaf not to be concerned. So having said that, having been through multiple event-driven cycles in our company's history, it just gives you a bit of clarity, and I think a bit of firm ground to stand on, where that this will pass. You've been through it before, and while it's not fun, that you've done everything that you can do to mitigate risk kind of going in, and how you invest. And our firm has done a very good job of managing risk in the hotel space and performing. And so we can rely on that experience. And one of the things we learned and got a lot better at during the global financial crisis is cash management. And cash management is really critical. Knowing where your cash is, what your reserves are, what uses you'll have on a projected basis, and being able to meet all your obligations, and having a really tight controls around that is very helpful. And again, it gives you confidence that you can manage through and work through issues in the long term.
Yeah. Where do you think the next opportunities are? I mean, we're not seeing it all right now. I mean, we're getting a lot of visibility, but there's not a lot of distress yet. it's coming. We're seeing more notes than real estate. I'm assuming you're seeing the same thing, but where do you think the opportunities exist over the next 12 months?
Yeah. So I think what we're hearing, what you're experiencing as well. And I think that's why we're in the eye of the storm. And I believe that there's a lot of just human behavior that you have to think about here. And people have to go through the 5 stages of grief in order to get to the other side. And some people go through that faster than others. And, it starts with denial, then it's anger, then it's bargaining, then depression, and then acceptance. And so some people get through that and look forward faster. Others are, hanging on to the past. And I think that's why time will force action. And so that, I think that's why I think that there's going to be difficult days ahead, and more, you're going to see defaults, and you're going to see, broader defaults in the CMBS market, which is much more difficult to manage. And that all creates noise and challenges for everybody, and we just have to get through it.
Yeah, I think CMBS is going to be a really interesting one, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know when that opens back up on the lending side, but I think a lot of pain is going to come there too, just of how they're structured.
Yeah, exactly. There's nobody to talk to. There's nobody there that's left that cares about the relationship. There's nobody that can really quickly, at least, think through and make a smart lending decision. Not that there's not a lot of smart people there. There are. It just takes time to get through to the special servicer and then have it go through the workout. And so that we think is coming in a pretty big way.
So talk to me. I'm focused on recovery when we're reopening, but one of the things, you guys are big philanthropists, right? You got a bunch of really neat things. One of the coolest ones is Rock the Road, and you work with Pelotonia. If I understand it correctly, I think your conference has been postponed or delayed, canceled, but Pelotonia is still on. Tell me about those decisions that you had to make.
Yeah. So one of the things we did a couple years ago is we brought Pelotonia and the Columbus Partnership into the event as partners in the event, and I think that's going to prove to be really fortuitous given the circumstances. And the goal was to really take the event to another level of impact. And so what we determined in conjunction with Pelotonia, and Pelotonia, I think they're still working through, they're going to have the event, but how they have the event, it's going to change. It's not going to be the same event. And if they ride, they'll ride in smaller groups on different paths, or they're going to create a thoughtful event. What we in conjunction with them is there's so much planning, and I know how you guys must have felt. You planned the entire event and you were right on the doorstep of having your event. Well, anybody that's produced an event like yours or an event like ours know that it's a year-round effort, and it takes a lot of pre-planning and working capital to set up the programming and the facilities and all of that. And so what we determined was that this would be a great year. We've been working strategically on how to extend RTRX to a year-round impact. And so we are we're launching. We're not having the event physically, but we're launching a Changemakers virtual speaking series that will carry that the content that we have on the day of the event, and we'll have it throughout the year. And we're going to start by inviting back some of the past speakers and do the event virtually, and specifically on different change makers, leaders, innovators, and so we had our first one last week, and it went very well. And we're doing that in conjunction with Pelotonia, who will access their database and grow that virtual content and build the the impact or visibility of RTRX that will then lead to our annual event in the future. And so we can spend all the time that we were planning on spending on producing the event this year, really launching this Changemakers series. So I think it's going to be, ironically, I think it's going to be a really good pivotal point for RTRX. And again, we're thinking longer term, and again, our goal being to have the biggest impact that we can on cancer research.
I think you'll succeed. Your heart's in the right spot. And what have you already raised? $10 million or something over the 10 years or longer that you've been doing this?
Yeah.
Like, incredible numbers.
Yeah.
And it's a great event. I mean, I like coming. I like riding 25, 50, 100 miles with your good friends.
Yes.
You just got to remember to click out before
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Teague was learning how to bike it was a couple of years ago, and forgot to click out of his toe clips, and so we came to a red light, and Teague just toppled over into the dirt. It was pretty fun.
You should really warn people louder ahead of time that that's a potential possibility.
And you were talking all the way down
the whole time
as you were falling to the ground.
I don't know what you're talking about, Jim. It doesn't sound familiar.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you get to have it. It's a great event. Talk to me football. I know you're Columbus, Ohio. You're a big Ohio State fan. Are we going to be watching football come fall?
I think we're going to be watching football. Whether they have the fans in the stadium, I think we're going to be watching football. It might be delayed, but it is. These are the things that are very difficult. Is that if we just focus on one issue, which is the COVID-19 issue, and that trumps everything else, then we make a certain series of decisions. If we think about it in context of the broader world we live in, and all the all the things that get impacted by that, there are a lot of things that get harmed by not having football. I mean, it seems ridiculous, but the OSU football pays for the entire athletic department at Ohio State, and the education and the impact that it has on people's lives is significant, and jobs that it supports, and the mental health that it supports in our community is big. And so I'm personally a proponent of that we need to be thoughtful, and we need to be respectful, but we also need to get going and get moving towards some normalcy of living with this particular virus.
Amen. I think that makes all the sense in the world. Jim, you're a good friend. I don't know when we get together again. I hope you're not working on your golf game. When's the last time you played golf?
Oh, gosh, it's been a while.
I'm fired up the simulator in the office. It's working overtime.
Is it helping? Is it helping your score?
It's not helping.
No.
Helping the boredom.
Yeah.
Hi there, Ashley.
Hi. Thanks for taking the time today, Jim. We appreciate it. This was great.
Absolutely.
So we have a fun game to play. Weekly, I've been putting together this Hunter Happy Hour for everyone in our company to play. So we'll come up with Price is Right game, Jeopardy. We've done Pictionary. We've done a lot of things just to try to stay connected and see each other. So we thought it'd be fun to do Would You Rather with you today.
Okay.
Is that good?
Yeah, okay.
So y'all were talking about The Last Dance for Michael Jordan. So the first question, this is for both of y'all.
Okay.
Who would you rather have on your team, Michael Jordan or LeBron James?
Jordan, for sure.
Sure. Definitely.
I think that's, maybe because I've been watching this documentary and it gets me pumped up, but definitely Michael Jordan. All right.
6 championships.
Yeah,
Jordan.
hands down. All right. Would you rather be stung by one murder hornet or get stung by a bee every day for the rest of your life?
One murder hornet, for sure.
That hurts, though. I don't know if you read about it. That is a fiery ouch.
I know. The picture of those murder hornets are like straight out of a sci-fi cartoon. They're crazy looking, but I couldn't take getting stung by a bee every day.
Yeah.
You don't think you'd get
Even
used
if
to
you
it
could
after a
die?
while?
What's that?
What if you die?
Well, are murder hornets? Are they killing people?
I think you have to get stung multiple times, but who knows? What if this one sting did it for you?
Obviously, if it was a choice of life or death, I would pick the bee every day.
Okay. Teague, what was yours?
I think, depending on how bad the murder hornet is, I think the murder hornet, and you get it over with, and we move on.
All right. All right. So coming up on Memorial Weekend, we have the big match. Is it Tiger and Peyton, or would you have Phil and Brady? Which one are you having win?
I'm Tiger and Peyton, but I'm a Falcons fan, so Tom Brady's dead to me.
Yeah, I would go with Tiger and Peyton as well.
Yeah.
I love Tiger Woods, so I'd do that as well. All right, last one.
Uh-oh, okay.
Would you rather be quarantined on a cruise ship or at a hotel? Where you can't leave.
Is the cruise ship moving, or is it stationed in one port?
I mean, it could be moving on water, but you're quarantined. You can't get off the boat, Teague.
Can you go to the casino and?
The casino is probably the last place you want to be during coronavirus.
At the hotel, can I go to the bar? Is there a rooftop bar at the hotel, and am I allowed to go?
You're quarantined, so I don't know unless maybe it's one person you're going by yourself to the bar, but you can't be around other people.
All right.
Social distancing.
Yeah, I would probably say in a hotel then.
In a hotel, definitely. The rooms are nicer.
Yeah, the rooms are nicer.
At least you know you have a window. So.
Yes.
All right, that's all I got for you today.
That's good. That was very G-rated. I was worried about that.
I mean, I could have gone a different route, but yeah, PG.
Yes, PG.
Your kids are playing that, Jim.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Ashley.